happy to introduce Dr. Vivek J. Dr. Vivek J has completed his BAMS. After BAMS, he did MS in Ayurveda, then DVV, and also he completed his PhD in Ayurvedic Oncology. And he has a PhD from Government Ayurvedic Medical College, Bangalore. And he is professionally he is an Ayurvedic oncologist as well as Ayurvedic surgeon. And Dr. Vivek has completed under the undergraduation PG in Shalyatantra and also doctorate, as I told, from Bangalore Ayurvedic Medical College. Then currently, Dr. Vivek is working as an associate professor in Department of Shilya Chalakya in a renowned, well-known institute like Sri College of Ayurvedic Science and Research Hospital, Bangalore. Dr. Vivek also working as a chief Ayurvedic oncology consultant and Ayurvedic surgeon at multi-speciality hospital called Ashwini Ayurvedic Clinic. It is a specialty Ayurvedic cancer care clinic and an Ayurvedic anorectal clinic at located at Chamarajpete, Bangalore. And not only that, Dr. Vivek is a specialist in treating. Vivek is specialist in treating different types of cancers, like it may be breast cancer or cervical cancer, colon cancer, even blood cancer also. Through Ayurveda, and also he is a specialist in Ayurvedic Charakarma, doing Chara Sutra treatment for piles, fistula as well as fissures also. And further, doctor has treated more than 1,200 cancer patients through Ayurveda. Ayurveda Anushastra Karma, that is parasurgical procedures, what we call in modern science, and Shamana Chikitsa also, like Ayurvedic palliative treatment he carried out. And through Ayurvedic Panchakarma treatment, he treated more than 1,200 cancer patients. And Dr. Vivek J has presented many papers on national and international conferences on management of cancer through Ayurveda. And he has given many radio interviews and TV talks on various Ayurvedic subjects to the public, and also conducted many Ayurvedic health camps and cancer awareness camps across different part of the country. So this is a broad, this is a profile of today's our eminent physician, eminent speaker, Dr. Vivek J. Now I heartily welcome to Vivek J and all participants to this wonderful event. And now it is over to Dr. Vivek J. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'll be starting my presentation. Om Sahasraksham Ganadesham Swagarum cha Saraswatim Janakam Janayatrim cha Shastrado Pranamamyaham. Saluting to the Almighty and to the parents and to all teachers. So today is a very important day and very auspicious day, because today we are celebrating Teachers' Day. I think one of my teacher is also there here, Dr. B.G. Gopinath sir. Everything, whatever I am there today is because of him. I seek his blessings of Dr. B.G. Gopinath sir. He is a professor of professors. That means many of his students have become professors, and he is a retired professor and is a very well-known Ayurveda doctor in Karnataka. I just salute you, sir. So with saluting to everyone, I would like to start my presentation. I'll share my presentation. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, sir, visible. Visible.
Yeah. So today's my topic is opportunities and challenges in cancer management through Ayurveda. So we all know that nowadays, day by day, the cancer incidence is increasing, and people are losing their hopes, and many of the people are not getting good treatment, and many of the terminal aggressive cancers, it is also very difficult to treat. When such being the case, so now the people are looking for integrative oncology. So that means whatever the allopathy science they can do, so they can offer and offer best through Ayurveda. So we all know the Ayurveda is a very ancient science of life, and he has given so many concepts and he has also told about Arbuda, and he has told about so many diseases also. So I think when we take a concepts of Ayurveda basic principles, we can very well manage cancer, and sometimes even better than an allopathy line of treatment. So in many cases, we can definitely handle in a very beautiful way. So I will be just presenting. First thing is few important aspect what is told in the literature, Sushruta Samhita and other samhitas. I'll just look into it. So then second thing is whatever the cases I have treated, so I will share with the audience today, and whatever the challenges I have faced, those things I will share, and whatever the best results I have got, even those things I will share with you all. And finally, I'll just conclude what is the future challenges and future opportunities. So we all know that cancer, one of the most deadly challenges spreading drastically in 21st century. Cancer is a group of diseases involving abnormal cell growth with the potential to invade or spread to other parts of the body. So since it is spreading, because of its aggressive nature, and since because it gets into metastasis, so it is very difficult to treat. So it has now officially become the most dangerous killer in the world according to the WHO, World Health Organization. So Sushruta has told, in Ashmari he has told, Akriyayam dhruvam mrityu, kriyayam samshayo bhavet. So that means if we are not treating, so they will end up with a complication. So they may die. Akriyayam dhruvam mrityu. If we don't treat, definitely the patient will die. Kriyayam samshayo bhavet. If we treat, so then the chances of recovery it is there. I think he has told to Ashmari, but nowadays we can include that into cancer treatment. So if we don't treat a cancer, the patient will die very soon. And if we treat, we can manage. And many of our asadhyas and many of our sadhyas. So looking into sadhyata, definitely we can handle very well our cancers treatment. So then the knowledge and management of the disease, cancer, was not known to ancient surgeons of India, was not unknown to ancient surgeons of India. So our surgeons and our acharyas, they were knowing about the cancer. Though the Sanskrit equivalent for this word is not found in Ayurvedic literature, diseases having the signs and symptoms similar to those of cancer are discussed in various contexts. So we shall see what all that they have discussed, and very beautifully we can appreciate how the Sushruta Acharya has done all these things. Just a minute. The one beautiful thing what we can see is, so he has told, Yajjayate anyat kalu purvajate. Yajjayate anyat kalu purvajate gneyam tad adyarbudam arbudagnaihi. So Arbudagna is the specialist, he is the cancer specialist, or one who treats Vishti and Arbuda. So the oncologist has been the named, coined by Sushruta himself 4000 years ago. So he's telling Yajjayate anyat kalu purvajate. So that is a primary tumor. In the primary tumor is already there, and the same primary tumor anyat jayate, anyat tumor will join. So because of this, so it is called as adhyarbudam, he is telling. So here we can take it as a recurrence. Take it here as a recurrence of the cancer. So then second term he is telling durarbudam, yadvandvajatam yugapat kramadva durarbudam tacha bhaved asadhyam. So durarbudam is dvandvajatam. Either it will occur simultaneously or one after the other. Kramat. So it can come in the first, it can come in the breast, then it can come in the lungs, or it can go to the brain. So or together it can come. So this we can take it as metastasis. So Adyarbuda as a recurrence and Durarbuda as a metastasis. So beautifully he has explained, when there were no modern investigative procedures, and when there were no modern equipments, and there are no electronic microscope. Even at that time, Sushruta has explained about Adhyarbuda, that is the recurrence of cancer, Durarbuda, that is the metastasis of cancer, and he has also told the people who are specialists in treating cancer, he called them as a Arbudagnaha. He called them Arbudagna. So second interesting thing, what they have told in our Samhitas is, so while telling about the Granthi Chikitsa, he has told Grantishu atha Ameshu Vishag Vidadyad Shofakriyam Vistarasho Vidignaha. So he is telling you do Shofakriya for Granthi. And second line is very, very important. Rakshed Balam Chapi Narasya Nityam Tad Rakshitam Vyadi Balam Nihanti. So he is telling Rakshed Balam Narasya Balam Rakshed Nityam Narasya Balam Rakshed. So whenever we are giving any kind of treatment, we have to maintain the strength of a patient. We have to maintain the immunity of a patient. Tad Rakshitam Vyadi Balam Nihanti. So if we maintain the immunity or the strength of a patient, then the Vyadi Bala will subside. So that means the Vyadi will not become so severe. So, but nowadays what it is happening is, so we are giving chemotherapy and so many other medication. Because of that, patient is losing his immunity and his all other blood parameters, and he will have a weight loss will be there, and so many other different problems will end up. So we are not concentrating on the bala. So whatever the treatment, because many cases I have seen, so they are diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, they take a chemotherapy, within 6 months they will die. Sometimes they will have a lot of suffering. I'm not saying it is wrong. So, but we have to even follow the Ayurvedic modalities, Ayurveda Chikitsa Sutra, what Acharyas have told. So he has told Rakshet Balam Chapi Narasya Nityam. So instead of blindly following allopathy, we should also use our Ayurvedic basic concepts, basic principles, Chikitsa Sutra, whatever is mentioned by our Acharyas. We have to maintain the strength of a patient, and while maintaining the strength of a patient, we can use the treatments. So next one he is telling, Yato Vacha Bhagavan Dhanvantari. One more he is telling, Medoja Arbuda Chikitsa. He is beautifully told, Sashesha Doshanihi Yo Arbudani Karoti Tasyashu Punarbhavanti. So whenever you are doing excising or removing the tumor, if you lose certain tumor, so then it will again manifest. So the recurrence will be there. Tasmad Asheshani Samudharet. So even Sushruta has told, for most of the cancer, he has told about the surgical treatment. Tasmad asheshani samuddaretu anyuhu sasheshani yatahi vahnihi. So tasmad asheshani, without leaving any single cancer cell, the surgeon has to take out everything. Otherwise, there will be chances of recurrence. So he is giving one example how the sasheshani yatahi vahnihi. So when there is a fire in the house, so we have to mitigate the fire completely. Otherwise, even the little fire left again can catch fire and it will become very, very severe. So he is giving the medical line of treatment. He is giving the sutra for medical line of treatment. He is giving sutra for the surgical line of treatment. And the concept was very clear with him. And even that concept matches very well with the allopathic way of understanding. So Ayurveda, the ancient science of medicine, has a great role in both prevention and management of so many modern diseases. So also it has a very effective measures in both prevention and management of deadly disease cancer. So we have got the roots and we have to explore the different yogas, different Chikitsa Sutras. Supporting our body with Ayurvedic principles, Ayurvedic lifestyle, food habits, and Ayurvedic treatments before, during, and after chemotherapy will help us reverse the underlying cause of cancer and strengthens our immune system to fight back the cancer and to gain victory upon it. So we have to gain victory upon the cancer. So what are, we all know this. So in Ayurveda we can correlate. It's not necessary to correlate, but whatever patient know, whenever I am in a clinic, in a hospital, patient, they come with a report. So for example, a case of breast cancer, she is absolutely normal. She is not having any other problem. Her presenting complaint will be lump in the breast. She comes with a lump in the breast. No pain, no weight loss, no loss of appetite. So only with the report we can tell that the patient is that person is a patient or that person is a disease. Otherwise, we will never know. So these are few cases. Few cancer cases have such kind of presentation, but few cases they will end up with only metastatic symptoms. So that means they will not show any kind of symptoms till it becomes aggressive, till it becomes a last stage. So, for example, one case I had last 15 days before, a patient came with a severe back pain. So they have taken medicines with so many doctors, and the back pain has not subsided. When thorough investigation was done, then patient was ended up with a stage 4 lung cancer, already metastasis into the bone. So vertebral metastasis was there, and the primary tumor was in the lungs. So there were no bleeding from the bleeding. There was no weight loss. There is no cough. So there is no respiratory symptom, and it is a stage 4 lung cancer. And even the patient is not a smoker and not an alcoholic person. So such kind of atypical presentations also we are getting. So atypical presentation of the cancer is also there. Sir, सुनाई दे रहे हैं ना? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir. Continue.
Okay, sir. कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो बोलिए. So we can correlate into Granthi, Apachi, Arbuda, Galaganda, Shofa, Dushtavrana. So we can correlate cancer into either Granthi, Apachi, Arbuda, Galaganda. Depends on stages. So based on the stages, we can just how I approach is first is whatever the reports are there, that reports I'll go through properly, and those reports I will just make it into the basic principles, which dosha is involved, which dhatu is involved. Instead of fighting whether it is a cancer, whether it is a granthi, whether it's a arbuda, so naming is not at all necessary. So whatever the pathology is there, that pathology we have to understand. After understanding the pathology, so then we have to just go on with a treatment. Understand the samprapti, understand the dosha dhatus, and we have to try the samprapti vigatana. So that should be the treatment. So arbuda, some of the common symptoms. So literally meaning arbuda means a lump or a mass. Arbuda, it is a lump or a mass. According to description given by Sushruta, arbudas are gradually increasing, and mahantam, and it is very big in size. Vrutta, vrutta means we all know it is globular in shape. Sthira, fixed with a deeper structure. So it is fixed into the deeper structure. Bandarujam, there is slight pain. Chiravruddhi, slow growing. Some tumors are slow growing and some are aggressive. So nowadays we have to go with the biopsy report. But Chiravruddhi is a arbuda according to Sushruta. So it can occur in any part of the body. It involves mamsa and rakta due to vitiation of tridosha. So it is a tridoshaja vyadhi. So some of the pathophysiologies, we have to search for a nidana, we have to look how the Agni is there, and whether it is Atiyoga, Ama is there, where is the Srotoroda, which dosha is involved, which dhatu is involved. So there are Samprapti Ghatana, all these things we have to see. So looking into these Samprapti Ghatanas, then we can give a treatment. So these arbudas may be classified under the following headings. Types of arbuda according to dosha, types of arbuda according to site, types of arbuda according to prognosis, types of arbuda according to dhatu. All these things Sushruta is very clearly has given. So doshaja arbuda we know, vataja will be there, pittaja will be there, kafaja will be there, then sannipataja. So all dosha, usually it is sannipataja dosha will be there. So and he has also explained vata arbuda, pitta arbuda, kapha arbuda, vataja granthi, pittaja granthi, kafaja granthi. So these are all sadhya. These are all the sadhya arbudas. So then he has also told, according to Sushruta, description Idhanasthana, dhatus are involved in arbuda. That is 3 types of dhatus. So medhoja arbuda, medaja arbuda, it is fatty tissue. Mamsaja arbuda, it is muscular. Then rakta arbuda, it is there. These are the 3 main things which he tells is asadhya. Meda, Mamsa, and Rakta. So Rakta Arbuda. So some people they correlate Rakta Arbuda as a leukemia, which we cannot take it. Why? Because he himself has told, if we understand properly the shloka what Sushruta is telling about Raktarbuda, then it can never be a leukemia. So I'll tell what is that. So leukemia, there is no solid tumor. So he is telling about the solid tumor in Raktarbuda. The vitiated doshas vitiates Rakta in Sira by Sampidana and Sankochana. First there will be vitiation of Rakta, and in Siras there will be Sampidana and Sankochana will be there. So then without undergoing Paka and along with the discharge, it makes a muscular lump. It makes a muscular lump, and that is he tells about Mamsa Pinda. Mamsa Pinda will be there. Then this Mamsa Pinda develops many Mamsankura and grows fast, and it is Ashu Vruddhi. So Raktarbuda is Ashu Vruddhi. So we look into the reports before we take any cases. We look into the biopsy report. In biopsy report, they tell whether it is a moderately differentiated carcinoma, mildly differentiated carcinoma, or poorly differentiated. All these things we have to consider. So for to tell whether it is Ashu Vruddhi or not. Then Pradushta Rudiram Sravatyajasram. The vitiated blood starts bleeding. So there will be bleeding in the Raktarbuda. Because of complication of hemorrhage, the patient with this tumor becomes anemic. The patient will become anemic. Hence, Mamsarbuda can be correlated to CA rectum, CA colon, or any malignant mass where there will be bleeding or any bleeding mass. So, according to Sushruta, Raktarbuda is the bleeding mass. There is a mass is there. There is a Mamsa Pinda is there. So, we can take Raktarbuda as a CA rectum, CA anal canal, CA esophagus, or even the CA lungs also if it is bleeding. So any tumor which bleeds and it should be a solid tumor, so that we can take it as a Raktarbuda. And we cannot take leukemia as a Raktarbuda. So this we have to be very, we should be very confirmed. And the Mamsarbuda. So Mamsarbuda he tells, due to fist blow or trauma, the muscles of injured parts get vitiated and swollen. So the difference between Mamsarbuda and Raktarbuda is the etiology. Etiology is different in Mamsarbuda. So in Mamsarbuda, it is because of blow or a trauma or a continuous irritation to the mucous membrane. So that will lead to the Mamsarbuda. The Dushita Mamsa Shofa shows following features. So it will have Avedana, painless, snigdha, unctuous, and it will be smooth. So this is about the Mamsarbuda. So some concept, basic concept we are clear, so then it will be very easy to treat. And types of Arbuda according to sites. According to Sushruta, Arbuda can occur at any site or a tissue of the body, and probably no site is exempted. So he tells it can be anywhere, and which cannot give rise to Arbuda. So this includes eyes, ear, nose, buccal cavity separately. So he's telling it can occur in eyes, ear, nose, buccal cavity, such as he tells in Uttaratandra, he tells Vartmar Buddha, this of the C of the eyelid, Karnar Buddha, C of the ear, Nasar Buddha, C of the nose, Talwar Buddha, C of the palate, Jalar Buddha, and Ostar Buddha. Then Galar Buddha, CA in the throat. So we are getting so many cases of larynx, CA epiglottis, and the Talwar Buddha we are getting Mukar Buddha, buccal mucosa, CA of the buccal mucosa because of tobacco chewing, smoking. We are getting so many people. This buccal mucosa cancer is very aggressive. Usually it will be squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma is very aggressive in nature. And Sirar Buddha. Some of the tumors in the head and brain because of continuous use of mobile and radiation, all these things, because of that we are getting CA in the brain. So glioma and other things. So he tells types of Arbuda according to prognosis. It is Sadhya and Asadhya. Whether it is Sadhya or Asadhya, we have to differentiate. So here I have to give one explanation so that we should not conclude. Many of the Vaidyas, they give a wrong statement. Ayurveda Vaidyas, I have cured so many Arbudas and there is a very good treatment like that. Unnecessary its claims should not be done. So properly if it is treated and properly single case, tell at least 1 year we have to do a follow. So patient will come for one time, we will give some medicines. After 1 or 2 visits, he will not turn again. So those cases we cannot take it. So we have to give the medicine, we have to document properly, and what has happened to the patient, all these things we have to see, and periodical investigations also we have to do, because it is a silent killer and there will be no manifestation of the symptoms. Sometimes, as I told, we see only the metastatic symptoms. So most of the arbuda, including mamsa arbuda, rakta arbuda, and tidosha of any site occurring in a ear, nose, throat, etc., are considered as asadhya. So with the invention of modern line of good treatment, certain cases are now it is it's managed well. See, in allopathy, doctors also, so they don't tell that they are curing because they know the nature of the disease and they talk in terms of survival rate. So it is a 1 year survival, 2 year for survival, 5 year survival, like this. So even Acharya also has told it is a sadhya asadhyata. So if it is asadhya, we cannot claim that we can cure it. So we should also talk in terms of survival rates. However, some of the arbudas are also described as sadhya, which are most probably cyst, benign tumors, or chronic inflammatory swellings. Recurrence and metastasis. I have told already Adyarbuda and Dvirarbuda. So the knowledge of Arbuda was there to Sushruta. So then Asadhya Vrana. So different Asadhya Vranas also we can consider as a Asadhya Vranas or Dushta Vranas also we can consider as malignant ulcers. Asadhya Vrana may be due to number of cases, number of causes, and malignancy cannot be ruled out as one of them. Almost all clinical presentation of different asadhya vranas described as Sushruta can be considered under malignant ulcers. So different malignant ulcers. According to Sushruta, these ulcers are chronic in nature and depicts with raised or rolled edges, multiple firm fleshy masses similar to cauliflower type with various types of discharge. So whatever the features of malignant ulcers have been told, so those features even Sushruta has explained in his text. So now, so cancer, we can take it as a Sannipataja Vyadi or a Vishaja Vyadi. So we can give a Rasayana Chikitsa and Vajikarana Chikitsa. And also Adi Pratyanika Chikitsa, Dosha Pratyanika Chikitsa, and Avastha Chikitsa. So some of the cases what I have treated, I will share with you all. So we have different category of treatment. So whatever the patient comes, we categorize into four headings. One is a fresh case, then the post-surgical case without chemo and radiotherapy, and cancer remission cases, that is partial or complete, and terminal cases. So fresh case means as soon as the patient is diagnosed as a cancer, they will come to us. So this group, very less patient we will get because most of the patient they'll go to allopathy doctors, they do all treatment and then only they'll come. So even all fresh cases we cannot take. We have to select the fresh cases what we can treat through Ayurveda because we have to be very careful because if we delay referring a patient to a surgeon, so then it will be the blame will come on a science and also even on the doctor. For example, a patient will come with a small lesion in the tongue or on the buccal mucosa. So if Ayurveda doctor doesn't have a allopathy knowledge, so if it is a squamous cell carcinoma, so it will be aggressive and within 15 days, 1 month, it will start going into deeper structure. So it will go into the mandible bone, it will go into the lymph nodes, cervical lymph nodes, all these things will happen. So while taking fresh cases, we have to be very careful. We have to see whether it can be treated with Ayurveda or not. So we should not end up with any complication or the progress of the disease. Then so many post-surgical cases we have got, we are treating. So post-surgical case is, as Sushruta also told, surgery is the main line of treatment for Arbuda. So here also it requires debulking. Debulking surgery is very important. Once the primary tumor it is removed, so then it will be easy to handle the cancer patient. So if it is confined to the one place, if primary is there, if it is surgically indicated, then surgery can be done. So then some of the chemo radiotherapies are is having so many side effects. Then those people also they come, so they don't want to take a chemo radiotherapy, and those cases also we are admitting and we are treating. So in those cases, I have got a follow up of 3 years, 4 years of follow up. Surgery is done, and 3-4 years no chemotherapy is given, only an Ayurveda line of treatment, and 3-4 years of follow up. I have got such patients and cancer remission cases. So initially cancer is treated, chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, everything is done, and remission will be there. So this group of patient will be in fear of getting into recurrence. So to avoid the recurrence, these patients we can take it and we can treat. We can give whatever like Rasayana, Vajikarna, immunomodulators, depending upon the case we can treat. And terminal cases. So terminal cases, opportunities I was telling, lot of opportunities are there in terminal cases where Ayurveda doctors can do wonder. And only thing is we have to treat properly, framing a Chikitsa Sutra, and properly we have to document. So one case I had, one interesting case. So she was an Orthodox lady. She had some gastric problem. She was taking medicines for 15 days, 1 month. So some irritation was there, belching was there, all these things, nausea was there. She thought it is only a just simple acidity, and she was being treated, and it didn't subsided. So it started increasing the symptoms. So when she went to all investigations. She has underwent endoscopy, CT scan, and biopsy, everything, and she was diagnosed as a stage 4 cancer, stage 4 stomach cancer. So she was an orthodox lady, no bad habit, no drinks and alcohol, nothing, and purely vegetarian. And because of stress and other things, she has developed this. And she opted to go for integrated medicine, and she took chemotherapy, and within 6 months, patient died. So in such cases, so where the chemotherapies are not functioning, not working properly, those kind of cases, some cases will be uh, chemo resistant. Some stage 4 cancers will be chemo resistant. I have told that in Granthi Chikitsa, Sushruta has told to maintain the bala of a patient. You have to maintain the bala of a patient. That is very, very important. When patient loses the bala, so the death which is supposed to happen maybe after 2 years will happen within 6 months. So in such cases, we have to treat, we have to document, we have to do some presentations and publications. So then all terminal cases where we can do good, and definitely the allopathy doctors, they will only refer to us. So some few cases, I'll just tell few cases what I have treated. So this is a case of mycosis fungoidosis. Mycosis fungoidosis. So T cell lymphoma, it is a type of blood cancer. So patient was suffering too much. She had a very bad ulcer on her back, and the lesions were there throughout her body. And it was a stage 4, and even it has spread to the lungs. So considering it as a Rakta Doshaja Vyadi, I have given Virechana, then followed by Jaloka Ucharana we have done, and symptomatic relief was there. The patient quality of life we were able to improve. So these were the very huge ulcer on her back. So you can see the lot of slough were there. After Virechana and Jaloka, it has improved. It shows the sign of the healing, and raised edge is there. It is a malignant ulcer, and she had a liver metastasis, and the patient was on methotrexate. Patient was also on methotrexate. A few days we managed, and she had a good quality of life. So a case of mycosis fungoidosis. So you can see the lesion throughout her back and even on the legs, just everywhere it was there. T cell lymphoma. T cell lymphoma, a type of blood cancer. So this is a one more interesting case, ameloblastoma. This patient is still taking treatment with us. He is still taking treatment, and he has a tumor in the jaw, odontogenic tumor. It has come from the tooth. So he is a very scholar person, and he is a very learned person, and he has taken a lot of opinion from the maxillofacial surgeons, and everybody has told about the resection of the mandible, hemimandibulectomy. Half of the mandible should be cut, and reconstruction has to be done. So patient has taken consultation around 10 to 15 maxillofacial surgeon, and he has consulted at least 100 cancer patient ameloblastoma cases, and he assessed how will be post surgically. So he didn't get a good feedback from patients. That's why he decided not to go for a treatment. He has come to us, and we are treating him with a regular virechana, regular shodhana. Once in 6 months, we are giving shodhana, and we are giving kapahara, medohara, dravyas. The tumor is maintained. So when the patient has come, he was not able to chew. He had a pain. So there were no occlusion. The upper teeth was not sitting in the lower teeth. No occlusion was there. He was not able to masticate. So after taking treatment, his symptoms has come down, and he is living with the tumor, and he is happy. So the prognosis, what in Ayurveda, it is good for him. He is living with the tumor, but it's not aggravating. It is giving good result. So this is a one more case of CA ovary stage 4 case. She has admitted to our hospital. So we have given palliative treatment only. So this is Yapana Chikitsa only. So we know that malignant ascites is very difficult. So even after tapping, it will accumulate repeatedly. So malignant ascites tapping also, it's not a treatment. So temporary relief she was getting, and it used to refill very fast. So we have tried with the Sushrutokta Jalodhara Chikitsa, and also for a CA ovary we have treated some lepas, Nitya Virechana Dravyas, all these things we have given, and palliative treatment was given, quality of life was improved. So this is a case of CA tongue, and he is a plastic surgeon from North India. He has come to our hospital, and he was in very bad state. Though he was doing weekly around 15-20 surgical cases, he was doing surgery for himself, but he was a chain smoker and tobacco chewer. Because of that, he's got this, and he wanted Ayurveda treatment also. So we have given Vamana Karma and some Kapha Medohara Dravyas. So Alasa Chikitsa, it is one of the Jihvagata Roga. It is also, Sushruta tells, it is Asadhya Roga. So initial stage, it has to be treated. So then good prognosis is there in CA lungs. It can be correlated to Alasa. The same case, the lateral border, you can see the huge ulcer, non-healing, which is a malignant ulcer. So this is one more case. So a case of CA buccal mucosa. So you can see that he has underwent all treatment, and within within few months, he got the recurrence. So he had a cancer in the buccal mucosa. It was operated. He went chemo radiation. Then it has come to the palate. It has even come to the palate, and the cervical lymph nodes. You can see how face is disfigured. So even he was not able to take anything orally. So we have given him some Rasayan Aushadis. A few months we have managed, and he had a good quality of life. And in many of the stage 4 cancer, it is very difficult to manage pain also, pain management. So one of the opportunity what we can explore in Ayurveda is we have to find out proper treatment for the pain management. So one case I had, she was a CA breast with metastasis to the brain, and she had a severe headache. Severe headache. She know that she will not survive, and she know that it is an aggressive cancer. She know that it cannot be cured, and she has accepted everything. She wanted only relief from the pain. She doesn't wanted to cure her disease because she is a learned patient. She know the nature of the disease. At least she wanted relief from the symptoms. If we give relief from the symptoms also, the patient will be very, very happy. So one of the opportunities, so usually what they do for the pain is they give some injections, NSAID, and some of the tramadol injections, or they go on some of the like opium and other things. So even these higher medications also will not be able to relieve the pain. So we can explore our Basti, Snehana Chikitsa, Gratapana, all these things for a symptomatic relief of the pain. So this is one case I'm treating in my clinic. So this is a Paget's disease. Paget's disease. So it occurs in the nipple, also known as Paget's disease of breast. Sometimes it will be associated with breast also, breast CA. Otherwise, it will be confined to only nipple and areola. So in earlier stages, it will be confined to nipple and areola, and later it will come to the breast also. So Paget's disease is a unilateral, well-defined erythematous, slightly infiltrated, scaly plaque that may be crushed and oozing. So you can see that only one breast is involved, and there is a bleeding is there. So it mimics the eczema. Usually it mimics eczema in early stages. It causes eczema-like changes first in nipple and the areola, then the skin. It's usually a sign of breast cancer in the tissue behind the nipple. So this I'm considered this as a stana vyadhi only, stanaja granthi. So then I'm treating with kapahara, medohara, raktashodaka, dravyas. So she's doing good. So one more big opportunity for us is we can handle many of the leukemia cases. So acute leukemia is little difficult. We can handle chronic leukemia very well, and some of the patients who are not affordable in treating. Sorry, these images has been shifted. I am supposed to close the eyes of a patient. So this is a case of acute leukemia. This patient has come to me, and she has underwent all treatment. So induction treatment, chemotherapy was done. So then there was a relapse. She underwent bone marrow transplantation also. We all know it is bone marrow transplantation is very very costly, and it costs around 18 to 20 lakhs. So even with all this spending also, patient will have only survival rate for 2 to 3 years. So if it comes to the children, somehow acute leukemia can be managed. If it comes to the adults, the acute leukemia will be more aggressive, and the uh, success rate is very less. So in those cases, acute leukemia, so this patient also, so they have told that 12 lakhs for initial treatment. That boy, for him, they have told 12 lakhs. So, and after giving therapy also, within 6 months or 1 year, there will be a recurrence. There can be recurrence in most of the cases. Some cases only the patients who are lucky only they'll have a good 5 year, 6 year survival rate. So don't we have anything to do in such cases where the patient are going to die within 1.5 to 2 years? Can't we progress? Can't we prolong at least for 2 years? So such cases we have to treat with Ayurvedic line of treatment, either Pandu Chikitsa or Rakta Pradushaka Chikitsa, Rakta Prasadana Dravyas. We have to give, and even sometimes we can even integrate also, because I have shown that lady, no, that girl. So her platelets used to fall to 5,000, 10,000 like this. It will become very difficult. So once in a week she was going for a platelet transfusion also. So I have given a permission, total permission. They were also ready to take allopathy and Ayurveda side by side. So somewhere we have to integrate Ayurveda and allopathy, and we have to give a good and economical treatment to our patients. So asadhya vyadi, it is yapana just. So we have to do yapana only. So by doing yapana, if it is economical, then it is good. So many people know they have sold their house, so thinking that the patient will become completely all right. Some 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, they will sell their house and they will come to the footpath also. So we have to give a proper knowledge to patient, and whatever the best Ayurveda treatment we can give, we have to give economically, and we should prolong. So no doubt it is a asadhya case. This is one more case. So this patient is also there with us since 3 years. So it is a breast cancer, but it is a male breast cancer. So he is a operated case. So you can see that on the right side, the breast is operated. The patient has underwent radiation, chemotherapy, everything, and periodically he is coming for a treatment. I have told him every 1 year you come for a virechana karma, because so there will be lina dosha. So lina dosha will be there. This lina dosha only will turn into metastasis. So we have to handle the lina doshas. So then there will be no metastasis. So any lina dosha, if the patient bala is good, so then we can take it out by doing some shodhana chikitsa and by giving some rasayana chikitsa. So there is no recurrence since 3 years, and he had a very bad skin in the radiation place. A very black skin was there, itching was there. It's simple with two snehapanas, 30 ml, 60 ml. So his itching has come down. The skin color was improving, and now after 3 years, on both the side, the skin color is totally same and totally normal and same thing. So CA breast, male CA breast, we are managing. So one more interesting thing I'll tell: before treating any of the cancer cases, Ayurveda doctor should have a thorough allopathy knowledge. If he doesn't have a thorough allopathy knowledge, then we will end up with a problem. So we'll put our patient also into a trouble, and we ourselves also will get into trouble. So that should not happen. So for that, I'll give two cases example. Say a male patient aged about 71 years complaining of cough with two episodes of blood-stained sputum. So the patient had a cough and he had a blood-stained sputum. So he was 71 years, lawyer from Maharashtra. So he was advised to go for a biopsy. So unfortunately, the biopsy was not successful. So since that it was deep-seated, lesion was deep-seated, the biopsy was not successful. So he tried for two times. Though he tried for a two times, his biopsy didn't was not successful. He was not able to get the biopsy report. So then the oncologist decided, so there is a lesion. We have got a sputum bleeding, everything is there. So let us go with a chemo line of treatment only. So before treatment, so there was 2.5 into 2.3 centimeter lesion was there, and it was in left upper lobe of lung. Irregular speculated lesion is suspicious for carcinoma lung. So they have told that it is a suspicious for carcinoma, CA lungs. So they have advised for biopsy also. So they went to a Indian top doctors also that they were not able to take the biopsy, and they decided we'll go with a chemotherapy. So patient doesn't wanted to get into chemotherapy since it is not diagnosed. He came to us, and after considering it as a granthi only, I started treatment. So I have given him one virechana, urdhvaga rakta pitta. I just considered urdhvaga rakta pitta, some lesion in the lungs. So then virechana I have given. So then post virechana I have given him a vardhamana pippali rasayana. Vardhamana Pipali Rasayana was given. So this was the 10th August 2015 before, and after treatment was 23rd October 2015. September, October. So 1.5 months. Again, we sent him to CT scan. So after Virechana, after Vardhamana Pipali, symptomatically patient had a complete improvement. So then I just wanted to see the lesion. I sent him to again CT. So after that, they told fibrotic scar in the left upper lobe of lung with calcified nodules in right lung. So they are telling the fibrosis. The lesion has become fibrotic scar now because of the treatment. They are telling, they are giving opinion, suggestive of response to treatment. So they are also telling it is a response to treatment, likely infective lesion. So now they are telling it is infective lesion because according to allopathy, the tumor, cancer tumor cannot be treated by a medicine alone. So since there was no biopsy report, I cannot claim that I have treated a cancer patient. So this is how we have to take a proven biopsy proven cases only. So it has to be branded as a cancer. Those cases only we treat. So then we can tell. It might be the initial stage of cancer, but unless until I have a unless until if I don't have reports of a biopsy, we cannot tell that it is a cancer. So maybe in early stage only we have cured, we have to take it like that positively. Even now patient is coming almost 3 years, there is no problem, no recurrence, and patient is happy. Now he is 74 years already. So this was the one good interesting case. And one more case was there. A male patient aged about 49 years complaining of increased PSA. So he was 49 years, he just went for a routine checkup. So his PSA was high and lesion in the prostate. So he's 49 years, businessman from Delhi. So you can see his PSA was 18.48 initially. So when it was done, so he was suggested to go for MRI scan. So he went to MRI pelvis. So there was 11.4 into 8 mm nodular soft tissue signal intensity lesion was there. So there was a lesion in the prostate, and there was also very high the prostate specific antigen, PSA was high. So they have suggested him to go for a biopsy. Patient doesn't wanted to go for a biopsy, came to us. I told we will treat it so we can cure it properly. So the lesion can be resolved, I told. So then patient started our treatment. So I have given him Videchana, I have given him Bangshil, Yavakshara. Yavakshara mainly I have given, so Chandrapravati, other things I have given. So then after treatment, before treatment is 9-10, then after treatment 20-11. So 1 month, 10 days. After that, I have sent him for a scan. So then no distinct PSMA expressing lesion. So in the scan, it has come, there is no lesion in the prostate. So histopathological correlation is suggested to rule out early disease. Again, they are telling to go for histopathology. The first doctor also they have told after doing MRI go for histopathology. Now you can see that almost 1 centimeter tumor, 1.1 centimeter tumor has completely resolved. Lesion has resolved from the prostate. Since there is no biopsy, I cannot tell that I have treated a prostate cancer. I have cured a prostate cancer. So this doctor, the second doctor, when I asked patient to inquire about the previous and current report, he inquired, and that the second doctor is telling, who has done the PET scan, he is telling the earlier report is wrong. See, this is how some challenges will get. In some cases, will be successful, but without the objective parameters, we cannot claim that I have treated a cancer. So maybe if he would have done a biopsy, the biopsy would have come positive. So we can take it in a positive way also. But objective parameters are very much important. Without that, we cannot claim anything about the treatment, success of the treatment. So another case, a female patient aged about 49 years complaining of lump in a breast. She has come with a lump, so far more than 500 only cancer, breast cancer I have treated. So incidence rate of breast cancer is too much now. At the age of 35, 40 only they will get it. And whatever the best treatment is there, actually according to modern, in breast cancer there is a very good treatment. That is, the survival is up to 10 years with a good treatment, 10-15 years. If the lady is getting at around 40 years with the best treatment, at the age of 55, she will get the recurrence. So then what is the use? It can be a recurrence, or it can lead to a cervical cancer. It can come to a metastasis. So what is our contribution from Ayurvedic doctors for a breast cancer management? So she was 49 years, housewife from Tamil Nadu. So before I tell about this breast cancer, so few things about the breast cancer I want to discuss. This was one very successful case what we have treated. So this breast cancer we have treated with Vamana, then Medohara Kapahara Dravyas, then Apamargakshara. The tumor has completely regressed. We have got all reports also. So breast cancer, a most common type of malignancy in India. It is the most common type of malignancy in India. Outside also, the incidence rate is higher before the menopause. Before the menopause, it is increasing. So premenopausal breast cancer is usually aggressive when compared to postmenopausal breast cancer. So nulliparous women have a higher risk of developing breast cancer. So 90% of all breast cancer begins in the cells which lining the milk ducts. So we all know breast cancer 2 types, ductal carcinoma and also lobular carcinoma, main 2 types of breast cancer. So breast cancer is a cancer that develops from breast tissue. Signs of breast cancer may include a lump in the breast, a change in the breast shape, dimpling of the skin, fluid coming from the nipple, a newly inverted nipple, or a red or scaly patch of a skin. In those with distinct spread of disease, there may be bone pain, swollen lymph node, shortness of breath, or yellow skin. So I was telling, no, breast cancer, there will be no symptoms for a patient other than the lump. So one case I have got, so she went to some traditional doctor and she was simply taking medicines for 6 months, 1 year. and even doctor even least bothered to do the examination of the breast. He was, I think, whether he knows or don't know, I don't know how to do the breast examination. So blindly he was giving, and one fine day it has ended up with a ulcer on the breast. So that means the tumor, which was small, maybe around 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, so it has grown bigger, and she ended up with a ulcer, huge ulcer, and there was a discharge and everything. So at this stage, if we send a patient to allopathy doctor, they will scold the Ayurveda doctors like anything. So doctors should be very cautious in treating cancers. So endocrine factors, the main etiology is endocrine. Breast cancer is commoner in women with early menarche and late menopause, nulliparous women, elderly preemies, spinsters, and even a multipara who have not breastfed their issues. The role of OCP, oral contraceptives, and hormonal replacement therapy in the development of breast cancer is controversial. CA breast is more common in obese postmenopausal women because of increased conversion of steroid hormones into estradiol in the body fat. See, oral contraceptives, we have seen many patients. So those who are using oral contraceptives, they will end up with a CA breast, and those who have not done breastfeeding to their issues, they'll end up with the breast cancer. And many patients, so they go for hormonal therapy. They want to look very beautiful, so they want to maintain their breast shape. For all those things, at the younger age, they will undergo hormone therapies. So because of that, also they'll end up with a breast cancer. So we know all surgical therapy, chemotherapy, radiation, hormonal and targeted therapies are there. Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, hormone therapy, and targeted therapy. So local surgery, mastectomy, reconstruction. So Sushruta has told some lepas. Sushruta has told some lepas. So then it will become paka. So then we have to give chedana, just an incision, not an excision. So then you can take out. So this also we can adopt, we can try. So instead of going to complete mastectomy, then chemo radiation, so try with Ayurveda line of treatment also. So surgical treatment, sentinel lymph node biopsy they'll do. So then all other surgery I have told. So lumpectomy will be there, simple mastectomy will be there. Lumpectomy is removal of the cancer tissue and the surrounding area to normal tissue. So removal of only cancer tissue. So simple mastectomy removes the entire breast, but no other structures. Modified radical mastectomy removes the breast and the underarm lymph nodes. So if it is a stage, then even the lymph nodes are also removed. So radical mastectomy, removal of the breast and the underlying chest wall muscles as well as the underarm contents. So as the disease progress, as the person will delay, so then he has to go for a extensive treatment. So that's why it has to be treated in early stage. If we are giving Ayurveda treatment, we have to look that at least it should be maintained. The size of the tumor should be maintained. It should not increase. So you give for 3 months, 6 months, whatever the treatment you want. So, but the size should be maintained. So if size is maintained, then we can continue our treatment. If size is increasing, so then we should discontinue our treatment and immediately we have to refer patient to a surgeon. And also periodically we have to check the breast examination we have to do. We have to do the lymph node examination. If any lymph nodes are increased, then also that means our treatment is not responding, then we have to refer the patient. So many cases I am treating, many it is taking 1 year, 2 year, and the size will be status quo, and after 1 year, gradually it is coming down like that. Huh? So periodically I'll do either mammogram or ultrasound, or whenever I am treating a fresh cases, periodically I'll do mammogram, periodically I'll do sonography, and periodically even the tumor test. So this is the only assessment criteria. With this, I'll assess whether my Ayurveda treatment is working or not for this patient. So this simple lumpectomy, only the tumor is taken, breast is retained. Simple mastectomy, so breast is removed. So modified radical mastectomy, including the lymph nodes, axillary lymph nodes, then the radical mastectomy. So chemotherapy. So chemotherapy has got many side effects. So we all know, and acute side effect is neutropenia, alopecia, and nausea. Then anthracycline related, it will be cardiotoxicity is rare and dose related. Long term, premature ovarian failure and its associated postmenopausal symptoms, rare risk of myeloid dysplastic syndrome or acute leukemia. See, usually many patients they come to me, they tell that I don't want to take tamoxifen. So this you all must be knowing. So pre-menopausal they give tamoxifen in a ER positive cases. ER is estrogen receptors, estrogen receptor positive. So once the surgery is done, they will send the tissue into the biopsy histopathology. So there they will come to know, and other tests, with the other tests they will come to know whether ER PR positive. So based on that they'll give the treatment. So hormone dependent breast CA breast is effective because they have got good treatment. So something which is not hormonal dependent, it is little bit like slightly aggressive. So for a hormonal dependent ER estrogen receptor positive, they give tamoxifen. It will be having lot of side effects. So postmenopausal is tamoxifen for 5 years, then letrozole 5 years, aromatase inhibitors they will do. See, here also we have to be very careful. Surgery is done. Patient doesn't want chemotherapy and all these drugs, hormone drugs. They'll come to us. How to manage that? What is the parameter we have to fix? So how we can consider? See, because immediately after surgery, so there may be no recurrence. There may be no metastasis. After surgery, patient will be 1 year all right. So after 1 year, they may develop. After 2 years, they may develop metastasis if they don't take these treatments. So how to assess? So again with the uh, tumor markers we have to assess, because patient will not have any symptoms. Lakshanika chikitsa we cannot do. Darshana pariksha we cannot assess. Lakshanika pariksha we cannot do because there will be no symptoms. So we have to depend upon the markers and the USG, CT scan, all those things. So radiation is also given, traditional mammogram. So radiation adjuvant post mastectomy radiotherapy is recommended in patients with a high risk of local or regional relapse. This includes patients with a large primary tumors. So if the primary tumor is more than 5, they have to go even for a radiation. But most of the cases they undergo surgery and they undergo chemotherapy. If it is more than 5 centimeter, then radiation is also given with 4 or more involved lymph nodes. So improves local control, decrease the risk of systemic recurrence, unclear gain in overall survival. So local recurrence can be avoided and the metastatic symptoms also can be avoided. So what are the tumor markers? It has been done. So most commonly used tumor markers for breast cancer is CA2729, CEA, carcinoembryogenic antigen, and CA15-3 can be used to monitor response to treatment and post-treatment relapse. So these are the tumor markers which can be used to monitor response of a treatment. Even Ayurvedic response of a treatment should also be monitored by these tumor markers. So, and not always elevated. Do not focus on minor fluctuations. Tumor markers, prognostic indicator, unclear benefit to follow response to treatment. So complications of the breast cancer with bone metastasis, severe pain. So for pain management, radiation. So they may also with the fractures if there is a metastatic to bones. Metastatic breast cancer, ER positive, hormonal therapy choice depends on history. Use hormonal therapy as long as possible. Good efficacy and little less side effects. Targeted therapies are also there, different. So this was I was telling the case. So I have more than 500 cases we have treated. So in this, it's a fresh case. I consider it as a Kapaja Granthi and I have given Vamana. So immediately after giving 2-3 days of Snehapana only, when I examined the breast, the tumor has become soft. Huh? So then even we have given her periodically 6 months. After 6 months, even Virechana I have given. So Urdhva Shodhana, Adho Shodhana, both was done. It is a totally a fresh case. No allopathy treatment is given, and since 4 years she is under our treatment. That means under follow. So no recurrence and no problem. I'll tell about this case. Patient complaining of a lump in the right breast. So small swelling in the right armpit with moderate pain was there, and she had a tightness in the right axilla. So family history was nothing significant, and the personal history of patient is she had a late marriage at the age of 31 year, and patient couldn't conceive. She was not able to conceive. So no breastfeeding was there, late marriage was there, and so we have done Vamana, so the Virechana, then some medications. So we have given Deepana Pachana with Shankavati, Snehapana with Gugulu Tikta Vivratam we have done. 6 days I have given 30, 60, 90, 120, 1 till 180. Then Sarvanga Abhyanga Bashpa Sweda was given. So then Vamana with Madana Phala Yoga we have given. So Kshira Ishtimadu Kashaya was also there. So after Urdhva and other Shodhana, patient was given Paniyakshara and other Kafahara and Grantihara yogas. Following oral medicines were given. So I have given Shivagutika, Kanchana Gugulu, 12 capsule, Varanadi Kashaya, Marshamrit Kalsha, and Apamarga Kshara. We know that Kshara, it is Anushastra. So in Kshara, it can be Paniyakshara and Pradisaranyakshara. So most of the tumors, we can give Paniyaksharas. If it is external tumor, we can give Pradisaranyakshara also. So the Chedana Bedana action of what the surgeon is going to do, that will be done by a chara. So it liquefies the tumor. And also one theory is there. So increasing the alkalinity in the body helps in arresting the progress of the cancer. And also recurrence can be avoided. So it increases the alkalinity also. And according to it does Vedana everything. So the case was not treated blindly. So with all modern investigations we have done, periodical mammogram, ultrasound scan of a breast was done to assess the size of the breast tumor. To our surprising, the breast tumor size constantly reduced and there was no spread of the disease. And even there was, that is, no spread, no metastasis. Gradually it was decreasing. After classical Vamana, Karma, Virechana Karma, Paniyakshara with the above said Shamana Aushadhis, the breast tumor which was malignant and 3.8 into 1.2 into 3.5 centimeter, almost around 4 centimeter it was there at the time of treatment, beginning before treatment. So it was reduced to 0.5. See, the tumor which was 4 centimeter has reduced to 0.5 centimeter and turned into benign cyst. It has turned into benign cyst. We have heard that cyst turning into malignant. In our case, in this case, a malignant tumor has turned into a benign cyst. And also the metastatic right axillary lymph node, which was measuring 2.7 into 1.4 before treatment, has reduced to 8 mm. It has reduced to 8 mm. So even the axillary lymph node has come down. Tumor size has reduced drastically. And the Ayurvedic treatment in this case was very effective in reducing the size of the tumor and also arrested the spread of the disease. We are able to arrest the spread. First is spread we have to arrest. It should not increase. Then we have to reduce the tumor size. That should be the goal of the Ayurveda treatment. So before treatment, Virat's category was 6, that is non-malignant. After 3 years of treatment, it became Virat's category 2, that is benign findings. It came to the benign findings. The results were very effective and encouraging. During the course of treatment, patient did not experience any untoward reaction or side effect. The treatment was 100% success without even any single short-term or long-term side effects. The patient didn't had any air fall, no chemotherapy side effect, no surgical time for recovery, no surgery was done, no? So recovery period and other things, those problems she didn't have. So these are the few cases, and I would like to give you all few concepts also. So with those concepts, we have to treat cancers. So many doctors are here. So I want to give few concepts. So how to treat cancer in Ayurveda? So how to control the metastasis? Many patients, more number of cases we get after surgery or after recurrence. So they come. See, even if we control the metastasis also, or at least if we slow down the metastasis also, that will be a very wonder. Because I have a one cancer patient, so it is a recurrent breast cancer and it is aggressive in nature, and she was taking an injection every 21 days, and it cost, you believe me, it cost 3.5 lakhs for one injection. And doctors have told them to take at least 8 injections. Even after that, we don't know what happens. Even doctors don't know, because these are so many trial drugs are also they are using in a patient. So many research drugs also they are using. So they will give option to the patient, and if the patient are affordable, so the patient they will take a chance and they want to serve. They will try to survive. So don't we have any medicines which can control at least the slowdown? So we have to treat certain aggressive cases, and we have to document, and we have to provide a data, so then all metastatic cases we can handle. So what to do for a metastatic cases? Don't go in search of any anti-cancerous herbal medicines. Anti-cancerous drugs will not do more. It will be not effective, because we have to understand the concept. So the concept is, we all know Vata is the one which brings all motion, all movements. So we have to control the Vata. This is what I do to all my patients. So whatever the possible way I can control the Vata, either by food or by activities, I'll tell them. If they follow, so then definitely the progress will slow down. So the guna of Vata, when we see, विभुत्वाद आशुकारित्वाद बलित्वाद अन्यकोपनात् स्वतंत्र्याद बहुरोगत्वाद दोषाणां प्रबलो अनिलः. It is in Sharirasthana. He tells vibhutvad. Vibhu means it is present everywhere. So throughout the body Vata is there. Ashukaritvad. So it is the one which takes and fastly it moves. Ashukaritvad. Balitvad. It is having a good strength to control Pitta and Kapha. Ashukaritvad. Anya Kopanad. So Vata can vitiate other Pitta and Kapha dosha. We know. So then Swatantriyad. So independently it can function. Then Bahurogatva. It can cause many rogas. It can cause many diseases. So Doshana Prabalo Anilaha. So Doshana Prabalo Anilaha. This is a more it is having more strength when compared to Pitta. So if we want to control Vata, so if you want to control the metastasis, we have to control the Vata. So this is our concept. Let us act on our concept. Let us accept this. Let us take some scientific parameter and assess how this Vata controlling helps in slowing down the metastasis. So allopathy, they have got so many theories. So many gateway theories, so many theories which breaks the cell wall, which kills the nucleus, all these things they have got. So with control of Vata, by giving some Gruta to a patient, how can we control the metastasis? So whenever my patient comes after surgery, they'll come. They'll tell that I don't want chemo radio. So give only Ayurvedic treatment. Such cases we are documenting. So some cases are at 2 years, no recurrence is there. Some cases at 3 years, no recurrence is there. Patients are doing good. So what I tell them is Kama Shoka Bhaya Dvayuho. With Bhaya, the Vata will increase. The patient should not have any fear. So we also suggest meditation, yoga to a patient. So this will also control. Instead of going to injection which is 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and even the result is not known, so why can't we follow the Vata Shamana treatment? So Vata Shamana treatment can be followed. So main thing is Vega Dharana should not be done. I tell them don't suppress your Vegas. I tell them don't do Ratri Jagarana. And I tell them don't do Chinta, Matimaitana, all these things. So with this only, so the patient will feel very healthy and there will be no metastasis. So it will come down. At least we can slow down the metastasis. So instead of going to a allopathy mindset and telling you find out some medicines which can control the metastasis, we have to go with the principles. So when we go with the principle, so we have to work on the principle. by taking some of the modern investigation procedures and modern equipments, we have to assess the principles and we have to revalidate it. And of course, some medicines after giving proper enough treatment, so we can also use some of the herbs. So cytotoxic drug, it is also proven. So curcuma longa, Withania somnifera, ashwagandha, allium satium, these are cytotoxic drugs. And some radio chemosensitizers. So some patients, they come with lot of pain and other things during chemotherapy, radiotherapy. And those times we can give some turmeric, guduchi, all these things. Then immunomodulators, like Tinospora gardifolia, Mangifera indica, these drugs also we can give. So some herbs and avalehas in the treatment of cancer. So to control the harmful side effects of chemo and radiotherapy, Ayurvedic anti-cancerous medicines can be used as adjuvant to improve the quality of life. So let us not stick on to the modern parameters, modern research parameters, without considering our basic principles. So we have to consider our basic principles also. We have to assess the reports in terms of dosha, dhatu, mala, srotas, ama, agni. So then we can give the treatment. And to know the aggressiveness and other things, so we should also know about the modern parameters. The Ayurvedic semi-solid pharmaceutical preparations, Rasayana Avalehas, improves the quality of life if taken as adjuvant along with chemotherapy or radiotherapy. And the classical Indian Ayurvedic drugs such as Amruta Prasham, Ashwagandha Rasayanam, Brahma Rasayanam, Chavana Prasha, Narasimha Rasayanam, and Triphala Churna. So in the beginning I have told, if we are treating a Granthi, we have to maintain the Bala. Rakshayet Balam, he has told. So if they are going for chemo radiation also, so then we have to maintain the Bala of the patient so that the chemo and radiation will be more effective. Were found to be radioprotective in cancer treatment. So now just to summarize, what are the opportunities to the budding doctors and to also the Ayurvedic fraternity, I just want to share, conclude what are the opportunities, what are the challenges we have. Opportunities in cancer management through Ayurveda. So conventional treatment alone is not having 100% success rate. So Ayurveda has great role to play in the management of cancer. So people themselves, they want Ayurveda treatment. Why? Because conventional treatment is not 100% successful in many cases. I don't say in all cases, in many cases. So we have got, they are looking into some alternate system of medicine. They're looking to integrate so many things. So recently they are giving immunotherapy. So instead of going to immunotherapy, so they can come to Ayurveda and they can take some rejuvenation therapies. It can be Rasana Chikitsa, we can do. So it has Dallana tells the beauty of Rasana Chikitsa is Asadhya Vyadis can also be cured by giving Rasana Chikitsa. Dallana tells while commenting on Rasana Chikitsa. Asadhya Vyadi he has told, no, Asadhya means Asadhya. So Dallana tells Asadhya Vyadi also there is a probable chance to cure by giving Rasana Chikitsa. So due to wide range of Ayurveda treatment modalities like Panchakarma, Shamanaushadis, Rasaushadis, etc. is useful in management of cancer. See, I have given so many cases, I have given Panchakarma treatment for a cancer patient. So I just want to share my practical experience. If the Bala of the patient is good, so then we can give Panchakarma. If patient, fresh cases, they are coming, maybe see a lungs or see a breast. So I decide the doshas, either Vamana or Virechana, I will keep. If the patient, they come with after all surgery, chemo, radiation, so then the patient will not have a Bala, so then we cannot give a Panchakarma. So we have to see. So Vyadi Bala, Roga Bala, Rogi Bala, everything we have to see, then only we can give a Panchakarma treatment. So in some of the leukemias, even we can try with the Basti Chikitsa. So Basti Chikitsa will also help. Basti Chikitsa, because in leukemia, Rasadhatu vitiation is there, and also according to modern, so bone marrow failure is also there. So for Majja and Asti Dhatu, the treatment what is being told in our classic is Tiktaka Kshira Grita Basti. Tiktaka Kshira Grita Basti. So chronic leukemia patients, we can give Basti Chikitsa. Acute leukemia also we can give. But we should have an integration, we should have a backup, and the doctor should know what are the consequences of the platelet coming down, RBC coming down, all these things you should know. Huh? So platelets, I have seen platelet coming down up to 5,000, and patient has survived with Ayurveda medicine and also with transfusion. We used to do transfusion also and to give Ayurveda medicine also, and we had a better result by integrating like that. So always doctors can collaborate with a like-minded and open-minded oncologist and can adopt integrated approach. So we have to collaborate with allopathy doctors. See, almost I am into since 5 years I am treating cancer patients. So earlier I used to refer some cases to oncologists. Now oncologists few cases they refer to me, few cases where I can handle well. So that trend is slowly changing, and that doctor has got a belief on me also that this doctor will properly assess, and after assessing only he is giving Ayurveda treatment. So many cases I refer to him. Some cases he'll refer to me where the terminal cases where the rejuvenations are required, and some fresh cases also I am getting. So for instance, I want to tell here, in order to collaborate, we should have at least some basic research. Basic research. So whenever we approach to allopathy doctors, so they tell that what research you have got, what drug interactions. So we tell that I'll give Chantrash, I'll give Guduchi along with chemotherapy radiation. They'll ask from us, give me the drug interaction reports. So those basic those basic research we should have. So then only we can collaborate. So always there is a scope for a honest research and can apply for a projects from Ayush and other department for our work. So Ayush Ministry is ready to fund us. So if we are really working properly and honestly, and if we are honest at our results, if we are honest at our treatment, and if we are honest at our documentation, so then definitely we will get funding also. Funding is very much necessary because so every 6 months or 3 months, if I want to send my patient to a CT scan or MRI scan, poor patients they cannot go. They are not affordable because one PET scan costs 25,000. One CT scan, an MRI scan can cost up to 8 to 10,000. So if we have a funding, so then we can give our treatment, and with modern parameter we can assess periodicity. Otherwise, we cannot do that. So these are the some opportunities where we can work on Ayurveda treatments. And some of the challenges. It is very difficult to convince a cancer patient for Ayurveda treatment. So if we are a beginner, so then it will be difficult. And some patients who have got a faith, they will come. And also, it will be very difficult to take a cancer patients who are recently diagnosed. That is fresh cases. One should be very cautious in treating fresh cases and aggressive cancers. I have told no, I have treated one prostate cancer, I treated the breast cancer. So always I had a fear that whether it will increase or not. So if it increases now in the prostate, it can go up to the bladder. If it goes up to the bladder, so bladder infiltration, then the surgeon has to go very extensive surgery. So then he will scold me also, and he will blame our science. So that should not be done. So for example, if a triple negative cancer, breast cancer, it is very aggressive. I cannot play by giving some Ayurveda medicines and charas. So I have to send that patient first go and get it done surgery. First debulking should be done. So then later I can decide. So this we'll get with experience. What kind of fresh cases I can take, what kind of fresh cases I can treat with Ayurveda. This we will get with the experience and with the proper Shastra Jnanas. So difficult to handle terminal cases whose general condition is very poor. So in many times the general condition will be very very poor. One CA stage 4 lung cancer was there. She had a very difficulty in eating because anorexia, anorexia. Whatever the medicine I am giving, her appetite is not increasing. So because it was a not just a Jatragni Mandya, it was Dhatwagni Mandya and also Panchamahabhutvagni Mandya. So at that time, so people have given, Balataka have given, so patient is not feeling good appetite. So whatever Agni Deepana Dravyas were there, I have tried. So some cases will be very challenging. Some cases will be very challenging. So we have to explore new yogas. We have to explore new aushadas and new modalities. So publication of successful cases is essential and it requires long follow-up. Sometimes even single case requires 3 to 4 years of close monitor and follow-up. See, if you want to publish even single case report on Ayurvedic treatment for cancer, at least 1 to 3 years we have to follow the case. So then only we can do publications. So we have to do case publication. We have to do the even the treatment modalities and herbal medicines research should also happen. So when all these things happen, so definitely, so Ayurveda can manage very well cancer. So to the coming to the conclusion, cancer is a complex disease. In Ayurveda, we can consider cancer as mainly Vidoshaja Vyadhi. We cannot treat deadly disease cancer just by giving some anti-cancerous herbal drugs. So one case I want to tell you about this. Some patients, they are taking herbal anti-cancerous drug themselves. They think that there is no side effect. There will be no side effect. So one recurrent breast cancer was there. Somebody, they have told them to take a Gomutra. The patient started taking, and after 1 week, so she had a severe burning in the breast, and the inflammation has increased, and even the lesion size was started increasing. So because she came to me and she told me that after taking this Gomutra, it is increasing. Then no, she was not able to identify because of Gomutra. She came to me that it is some problem is there. Then I examined the breast. So there was a burning sensation, and in Pitta Prakriti and in Pittaja Granthi, Gomutra we should not give. So if we give Gomutra, it will does the Paka, it will separate and it will increase. Only in Kaphaja Granthi, where there is a solid tumor, where there is a good bala of a patient, then only we can give a Gomutra. So every drug we have to assess and then only we have to give. So for example, many patients, they come to clinic. So with the CA breast with the report, first thing I'll ask whether you have any itching sensation. So if she is having itching in the breast, means it is a Kaphaja Granthi, Kaphaja Sthana Granthi, I'll consider. And if she is having any pricking type, I'll ask. If she tell yes, then that is a Vataja Granthi. I treat it as a Vataja Sthana Granthi. And if there is any Osha Chosha, I'll test the breast. I can feel if any burning sensation is there. So then it is a Pittaja Granthi. So then I should not give any Tikshna Dravyas. I should be very careful while Tikshna Dravyas. So we cannot give Gomutra. So Dosha Amsha Kalpana is very, very important. Whatever the medicines we are giving, we have to assess that dosha in a patient. We have to assess, then only we can give the treatment. So one side we have to see even the report, and another side we have to assess the dosha, bala, agni. So to break its complexity, we have to understand cancer based on Ayurvedic basic principles like dosha, dhatu, mala, agni, ama, srotas, yogomarga, etc. After having understood deadly disease cancer classically, then it has to be treated with some specific Ayurvedic line of treatment. So we have to make a Chikitsa Sutra. That is very, very important. And as we know, this Chikitsa Sutra will differ from person to person. We have to see the Prakriti Bala, everything. So single medicine, herbal medicine, if we are extracting something and if we are proving it is an anti-cancerous drug, and it will be utilized by an allopathy doctor. And never a single medicine cannot become Ayurveda line of treatment. So Ayurveda is not a medicine. Ayurveda is not a medicine like that. We have to do a Chikitsa Sutra and we have to cure. So in this way, let us have a classical approach to treat cancer with a modern parameters, with modern assessment, with modern investigation reports, because that is also very, very important. So with this, I conclude my topic. Let us all fight for the cure. Thank you.
Hari Om, sir. The session is concluded. Hello.
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Participants, audience, doctors, if you have any queries, any questions, please, you are welcome for any questions. Is there any questions from the audience side?
Any question is there? You can ask.
Excellent. Any question from audience, please? Excellent. Excellent, Dr. Vivek. Great. Great scientific knowledge you have shared. Great. Any question from audience? Dr. Sadanand,
Yes, sir.
please ask the audience.
Yes, I am
Any
asking.
question is there? Dr. Vivek can guide him or her.
Think no questions are there.
Yes, sir. I think we can conclude.
Okay, we can conclude. Sadanand,
Yeah, we got one message on, sir. Elaborate about LEPAS asked by Dr. Akila. It's a question raised from this.
Yeah. So we can apply Katuki Lepa. We can apply even ST Madhu Lepa. But we have to see whether the tumor, if it is visible outside or palpable outside, so then we can do it. Otherwise, because usually if we apply LEPA, so then it separates. So Sushruta has also told, after it's separated, we have to